What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today, what I want to get into is a free agent reunion, potentially for the New York Jets, that not really a lot of people are talking about, but might make some sense. So we've spent a lot of time this offseason talking about potential reunion options for the New York Jets, whether it be like re-signing Tyler Conklin, or trying to bring back Brandon Echols, or, whoever it might be of guys who were on expiring deals. But what about a former New York Jet? Someone who was a Jet actually a long time ago. I'm talking about Nick Folk at the kicker spot. So yes, I know kicker kind of boring, right? But let's actually talk through this, because many will claim in the comments that the Jets kicker cost them multiple games a year ago in Greg Zuerlein. So let's talk about it. Yesterday, the Titans signed kicker Joey Slye to a roster spot. And as Ian Rappaport reported yesterday, this signaled the end of the Nick Folk era with the Tennessee Titans. So Nick Folk's 40 years old now, and I know that's old, but kickers sometimes last forever. We saw Adam Vinatieri kick well into his 40s. It's not like, other positions, especially like, defensive back or running back, where you hit 30 and it's pretty much all over. We've seen kickers have really, really long careers, and specifically with Nick Folk, there's been no signs of slowing down. In fact, he's gotten better with age. Over the last 2 seasons, Nick Folk has hit 50 of 52 field goals and led the NFL in field goal percentage each of the last 2 years, hitting at 95.5% in 2024 and 96.7% in 2023. Ironically, after leaving the New York Jets following the 2016 season, it looked like Nick Folk's career was coming to a close. He kicked for just 4 games in Tampa Bay in 2017, had a really rough season that year, did not play in the league in 2018, did not have, a regular season in 2018, had 7 games with the New England Patriots in 2019. So we're talking about, 11 games over a 3-year period? And then he becomes one of the most accurate kickers in the NFL over the last 5 years, hitting 92.3% of his field goals over that span. In fact, if you want to look at over the last 5 years, he has not missed a kick under 40 yards in that time. That's impressive. I know under 40 is usually considered a chip shot, right? But 100% in a 5-year period? It's rare to see something like that from kickers these days. As I mentioned, Folk kicked for the Jets from 2010 through 2016, and he actually got better as his tenure went on, and the Jets ironically got worse over that time. But obviously his most memorable moment as a New York Jet was kicking the game-winning field goal against the Indianapolis Colts as time expired in the wild card round during the 2010 season. What a game that was. Never forget that one. The Jets drive down the field late. He kicks a game-winning field goal. The Jets move on to the New England Patriots and would have arguably their second most important win in franchise history behind the Super Bowl. And by far the biggest win of my lifetime and most people's lifetime as a Jets fan. So Nick Folk has some pretty good memories, or Jets fans have some pretty good memories of Nick Folk as a New York Jet. Now, why are the Jets looking for a new kicker? Well, unfortunately, Greg Zuerlein's age 37 season in 2024 was awful. He fell off a cliff after a monster 2023 season. In 2023, which many regard as a great kicking season, which it was, he hit at 92.1%, Greg Zuerlein, which is still a lower number than the average over the last 5 years for Nick Folk, which was 92.3, remember. So 92.1% in 2023, but in just 8 games in 2024, that number dropped to just 60%. He missed 2 field goals under 40 yards and was just 1 of 5 from 40 or more yards, including missing a game-winning kick against the Denver Broncos. He missed a couple important kicks against the Buffalo Bills. Things would have drastically changed in those games if he hits the field goal. Now, I'm not going to kill him for missing a long field goal in the rain against the Denver Broncos. Like, the Jets should not have been in that spot to begin with. But still, he played, unfortunately, an important part of why the team wasn't very good a year ago. It's not all on Greg Zuerlein. It's unfair to just completely ignore the Jets' coaching issues, how bad they were on the defensive side of the ball, the struggles on offense, and go, the kicker, That's the reason why the Jets were horrible. It's not the only reason why the Jets were horrible, but it was a part of the Jets' issues a year ago. Now, many are asking, why is Greg Zuerlein still on this roster going into his age 38 season? Is it that they just don't want to cut him and eat the couple $1 million that it would take at that point? Is that the reason behind it? But if they want a clear upgrade, I get it that Nick Folk is 2 years older than what Greg Zuerlein is, but Folk has been one of the best kickers in the league over the last 5 years, and into his late 30s has proven to be very productive. So I'm not saying that you're going to sign Nick Folk and he's going to kick for 7 years for you. That doesn't seem very likely. But if the Jets are just looking for a better option in 2025, which they should be, running it back with Greg Zuerlein and hoping that he just figures it out at age 38, I don't really love that idea. I think you could do a lot worse than Nick Folk. And who knows, you can find a UDFA, maybe you take a Ryan Fitzgerald in the 6th round. I know sometimes people don't like drafting kickers, but you could take someone in the draft, you could sign a UDFA, you could keep, someone else around on the roster and compete with Nick Folk throughout training camp. But the guy's still kicking around and has been the best kicker in the NFL the last 2 years. That's not hyperbole. He's led the league the last 2 seasons in field goal percentage. I just think it's a little strange that he's still out there kicking around. I'm not saying you have to pay him big bucks to come in here, but to me, it's an obvious no-brainer that he's an upgrade over what the Jets have and likely won't cost you a whole lot. So we've talked a lot about free agency reunions for the New York Jets. Nick Folk is a guy who was a Jet for a long time, had some great memories with the New York Jets, and I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below if you think the Jets should bring back Nick Folk as their kicker going into 2025. I'm Matt O'Leary. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you next time.